Well, good evening. This is Wednesday, and of course, it's Map Show night, and I'm really excited to be sharing a special message with each of you this evening. My name is Glen McQuirk, and I've been involved with Map for Life for the past 23 years, seeking to understand my purpose and to pursue it with passion and perseverance for life. And I know that you are joining in tonight because you too recognize that this world is a world where you can be unique and all that you were born to be. I don't think anyone who's listening this evening believes that you should die a copy, but rather that you are born an original. And I want to talk a little bit about the big problem that faces society today. And this is a rather strange topic for me to speak about, because one of the words that is prohibited in Map for Life is this word problem, and another one is circumstance, and another one is situation and issue, and all of these things that we tend to want to blame for our situation in life. So maybe this is a bit of an oxymoron. I want to talk about this concept of the big problem, and it really was born out of a discussion that I had with someone who was teaching me how to market something to the corporate environment. And the first thing that he said to me was that I should understand the problem. And, if I understand the problem, then I can go to the company and I will be able to help them. And my mind immediately went to the world as a whole, because I am born to map the world so that people can live with purpose. And so I started thinking, what is the great pandemic? What is the big problem that the world faces today? And my answer was 2 words, 2 easy words. And those 2 words were simply this: directionless existence. People getting up in the morning with no destination, waking up on Mondays frustrated. They call them Blue Monday because blue is our favorite color in Map for Life. So Mondays are map days. They are days where you should be having a master action plan, not a day to mourn the beginning of the week. Now, of course, I'm talking to people from around the world, so Monday might not be the first day of your week. You may start your first day on a different day. What is interesting is in America, they did a survey to establish what was the greatest cause of heart disease. And they found there were many contributing factors. And you would know those factors, smoking, lack of exercise, obesity, and on went the list. But there was one thing that really stood out, and that was they discovered that most people suffered their first major heart attack between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Monday morning. People getting up without purpose to go and work for someone else's purpose, and that is the big problem. And so I want to encourage you today to begin to get excited on Monday in the same way that you are excited on a Friday or on a Thursday, the last day of your week, whenever that might be. So the problem that I identified was those 2 words: directionless existence. Now, it doesn't help identifying a problem. You need to know what is it that people really want. Maybe you can identify their problem, but you also need to know what their aspiration is. And so I started thinking a lot about this, and the conclusion that I came to was that the overwhelming aspiration, it was defined differently by different people. When I look at the goals that they have, each one has different goals and different ideas of what the ideal life would be. But there were two words that stood out so clearly for me, and those two words were these: abundant life. I mean, who doesn't want abundant life? Who doesn't want to wake up in the morning when they know that everything that they need for the purpose for which they're born has been fully provided for? Who doesn't want that? I think everybody almost expects it as a right. But unfortunately, they don't understand that working for someone else's purpose is not going to lead you to this idea of abundant life. So the aspiration, the overwhelming aspiration for me is just those two words. It's interesting that there was a person that came and taught many people good things. And when he was talking about his purpose, he declared that I have come that your life, that you may have life and life in abundance. When I look to the side, that's not because I'm looking at notes, it's because I'm recollecting my thoughts. And it's so, when I read that statement, that I have come that you may have life and life in abundance, that for me was the perfect purpose statement. And you and I should be clear on why we have come. If you have any insight into the concept of purpose, then it links to the reason for your creation. And if you were created for a purpose, that means there was a need that preceded your creation. And when you connect with that need, when you use your gifts and talents to meet the needs that society has, then you are in your sweet spot. You are in that place where you thrive. Food, money, clothes cannot do for you what being in your purpose can. And so I want to encourage you, if you are not clear on what your purpose is yet, keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking, because when you do, my friend, you are going to find the pearls of wisdom associated with passion and purpose. While I mention the word passion, remember that passion and purpose are Siamese twins. They are linked together at the hip, the chest, the head, everywhere. Okay, those two are inseparable. If you are doing something which you believe is your purpose, but there is a lack of passion, you are not in your purpose. Your name is on your flame. People will begin to know you by the things that you are passionately engaged in. And it's this that leads to enjoying that abundant life. Now, of course, I've already started talking about the profound solution. The profound solution is, in fact, purposeful living. It's being connected with the reason for your existence. Now, sure, there are many people that will tell you that the purpose of man is to glorify their creator. And then when you ask, well, what must I do to glorify my creator? The answer is fulfill your purpose. And then you ask the question, well, what is my purpose? And the answer is to glorify God. How do I do that? Fulfill your purpose. And you get stuck in this never-ending loop. And then we look to find our purpose on a list of careers or professions or positions that other people have done before. I would like to suggest that because you have a unique set of fingerprints, because you have a one-of-a-kind DNA, because you're the only person with your face, with your smile, with your numbers of hairs on your head, or the lack thereof, You know, because you are that unique, is it not possible that you have come to bring something that has never existed before? I would like to suggest that that is in fact true. You should be using your imagination to think about things that are impossible, things that have never been there before. Imagining driving a red Ferrari couldn't possibly be a worse use of imagination. Imagination is not looking at things that exist and then wishing you had them. Imagination is about bringing things that are in the invisible into the visible. You've heard me talk about this before. Imagination should be used correctly. Miles Monroe said something like this, that when you abuse imagination, Zig Ziglar, when you abuse imagination, it is spelled W-O-R-R-Y, worry. And do you know of somebody who's worried, concerned, fearful? How do you identify these people? Well, they go around telling you to stay safe. Anybody who's telling you to stay safe is somebody who's living in fear. We need to begin to step out in faith and do things differently, bring a new message, because everyone is being groomed to be a copy. We need to invigorate people to be the original that they were born to be. I'm excited about the inevitable outcome. You know, when you understand the problem, you dream of the aspiration, you find the solution, and you connect with it, there is an inevitable outcome. An inevitable outcome. And that inevitable outcome is world transformation. When you step into your sweet spot, when you connect with your born gifts and talents, when you begin to meet a need that society has, when you begin to experience fulfillment, the world that you touch is transformed. It changes. When a bee connects with a flower and pollination takes place, the flower dies. It must be a very depressing world for the bee to think every time it touches something beautiful, that beautiful thing dies. But you know, at the same time, life is born. And sometimes when we begin to see the beginnings of transformation, when we see the start of transformation, it appears as if a flower has died. But wisdom enables us to look beyond the flower, to see the fruit, and to see the seed inside the fruit, and to see the tree inside of the seed, and to see the fruit on the tree that's in the seed that becomes more seed, which becomes a forest, which vegetates the planet. You see, the outcome of a germinated seed, the outcome of you connecting with your purpose, the outcome of you becoming who you're born to be, has to be transformation. And not just your transformation, but literally the transformation of the systems within which you operate. You should not be conforming to the system, but transforming them. And one of the ways to transform things is by renewing your mind, changing your mindset, moving into a different paradigm, having a different realm, or as some people say, a different worldview. If you were listening carefully to the message this evening, oh, I love these messages that you get when you're doing a session live, and it says, it's like the Apollo mission. They were heading back to Earth, and they had to do a final burn to get the right trajectory. And when they pressed the button for that, a big light flashed up and says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And you know, when you're in a situation like we are this evening, and you get a message that says there's a problem with your live stream, it's like that message they got on Apollo. But I trust those people who are with us this evening will forgive us if there was a slight interruption in our session. But if you were listening carefully, you would have heard that there were 4 key points. The first one was which I talked about this evening, was the big problem. So remember the letter P. The second one was the overwhelming aspiration. Remember the letter A. The next one was the profound solution. Remember the letter S. And ultimately, we talked about the inevitable outcome. You see, this ties back to a book that my father had in his bookshelf titled El Paso, Paso, which means the past. And for me, that is such an apt message for us tonight, is that if you want to be the original that you were born to be, you need the past. You need to move from the problem towards the aspiration. And the way to do that is the solution, which is connect with your purpose, and the outcome, the result, is going to be a world transformed. I trust that you've enjoyed tonight's message, and I'm looking so forward to Murad from Cairo, who's going to be facilitating our panel discussion this evening, and he'll be supported by Janine from Johannesburg, Henny from Rudaport, and we also have Primrose all the way from Harare in Zimbabwe. After this short break, Murad will be on screen and to continue the discussion. Have a wonderful evening. See you next week, Wednesday, same time, same place.
You are muted, Murad.
My apologies just for being muted. So, hello, Janine and Henny. Thank you for joining me today to reflect on Glen's talk about the big problem. And I want to take you back, Jenny and Henny as well. I'll start with Janine. Regarding at what point in life did you start to feel that there is actually a missing link in my life? I have to have a life that is purposeful. I want to live a life that is with a direction. I don't want to live any more directionless existence. Is there something that happened that actually this moment was very real to you? So please just elaborate more on that.
So I had a very life-changing experience, and I realized that.
Sorry, can you raise the volume a little bit? We
Okay,
can hardly hear you.
lean in a bit. I have a small voice. So, uh, around 2012, I had a life-changing experience. I lost literally everything in my life, my connections, everything. And I just realized that I need to find direction that will, and purpose that will carry me even in journeys like that. You know, something that burns within me.
So there was a profound experience, a point in time when you said, I actually need to stop, pause, reflect, and have a life with meaning and direction. And sometimes hardship and situations are actually a blessing, as these become the stepping stones towards helping us actually take a step into a more fruitful direction. So Hani, can you please elaborate as well on did you experience a point in time where you said that's enough? I want to live a life that is with direction and no more directionless existence.
Yeah, so I've always been call it a fan of personal development. So I love to attend the sessions and read the books and everything. And one specific book I read from Jack Canfield was one excerpt from that book was he was talking to around this a journalist talking to people. There was a earthquake in America, and people were sitting in traffic, heavy traffic, and a half an hour drive became a 3 hour drive every day. And this journalist was saying, let's quickly find out how the people feel. And the first person she got to was in the car, very upset, complaining about the traffic and how long it will take, and he's going to be late for his job again, and his boss is going to be on his case, etc., etc. She then moved to the next car, and there was a gentleman in this car that was very, very happy. He had his CDs in the car. He was learning a language. I think it was Italian. He had his CDs in the car. He had a flask full of coffee there. He really enjoyed the 3 hours he had on the road doing something. So I think that planted the first seed for me, and that was about 8 or 9 years ago. And then I think, as in a lot of people's lives, something dramatically happens before you really take stock. So in 2020, I lost my wife to cancer. It was a 15-month struggle. What comes with that is you sort of take stock. She was very positive up until the end, but I had this burning question in me to say, what if it was me? Did I fulfill the purpose? Would I be at the end of my life and say I had a meaningful life on this earth? Did I do what I was supposed to do, or was there some unfinished business that I had to get to? So I think that was the crucial
Wow.
point for me, is to say, take stock and start living and do what you need to do.
I'm sorry to hear that about your wife, but again, tragedy sometimes give us the better face and helps us to become
Yes.
a better person. From reflecting on what you were saying on the car, is that it's the same, it's two human beings having the same kind of situation, but someone is perceiving it in a way and the other is completely a different way. I guess this is when also you decided that you want your life to have a meaning. You want to not be just like following let's say it like the 9 to 5 job, but to show your uniqueness, because there is still someone else that is also living, but they are not actually taking the road less traveled, finding a life of a meaning. So thank you for sharing that. Primrose, am I just saying your name right?
Yes,
Primrose.
Primrose.
All right.
That's correct.
Yes. So same question to you. Do you want me to repeat back what we are talking about?
I think I got it. To say, was there something in your life that was there something that triggered like my journey to discovering my purpose? For me, it was a church event. It wasn't an event actually, but it was a seminar where we had John Stanko, who came through to Harare, and he was talking about purpose. So it was kind of like a network seminar where we were discovering our spiritual gifts and where to go through certain questionnaires and stuff like that. And since then, when I saw, a book on purpose, I would then grab it and start reading it. And I've read a book by one of the local authors here, Dr. Charles Mgawiri, where he was talking about purpose as well. I've listened to Dr. Miles Monroe. So there was then a session that happened in Harare where Glen came to Harare. I remember it was Crown Plaza, and I signed up for that. And after I signed up for that, it just resonated with me. And at that time, I actually struggled to come up with my purpose statement.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been following. I then came to, like you said, I came to Pretoria for the trainer, and yeah, it has been a fantastic journey. Now, wanting to impact, that knowledge to other people.
Primrose, thank you so much for sharing. I think you were almost ready to receive the message, and just you were in the right place at the right time, and that
Yeah.
message that you were looking for came to your life.
Yeah.
So let's just reflect on now. I think it has been some time since you have discovered, okay, this is why the reason I'm living. Does it come to you that every Monday morning or Sunday in other countries, do you feel this? Can you take this purpose that you have crafted in few words, and that can fuel you to keep on going, to live a life that is a driven life, on purpose life, um, or are you still a little bit not yet reaching this point of having your purpose, the fuel that would keep you going? So let's start with Nadine as well. Sorry.
Yeah, so Monday is an awesome day for me. I enjoy every day of the week because every day I have something that brings me joy. What I do excites me. So, of course, there's in everything that we do, in every business or career, there's something that's not nice. But as a rule, my life is fabulous. I enjoy every moment. It's, but it definitely, I had to be in line with my purpose to feel that way because I remember a time when I worked in corporate where I felt very frustrated. And when Monday came, my heart was anxious. And now it's just a joy. It's, I'm going to get to do this. I'm getting to do that. It's awesome.
Yes.
But, if you run a business, you have to do the books, which can be frustrating.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's very true, because finding your purpose and pursuing it is not a walk in the park. It's not a road filled with flowers. And some days, even though you still have something that would take you out of bed, you still have to do the hard work. But at least you wouldn't look back and say, my life is getting wasted, and I know what I'm doing, and every day counts, and every day is actually an opportunity to express my existence, and day after day I will complete my life mission. So this at least gives the person to know that I'm in the right track, and keeps them looking forward and going ahead. But also, I want to reflect on Primrose when you were saying that it wasn't easy to find your purpose. One thing I want to get back to is that Map for Life actually takes you into a process where it asks you the simple questions first. And when you trust the process and follow it, you eventually come to realize this actually can be my purpose, or this can be my vision. Unlike other authors and unlike other books, they start with a very hard, big question. Is like, what is your vision 20 years from now? I don't know. What's your purpose? This is a very big question. You have to make it a little bit chewable, give me more smaller questions to think about. And by the time I reach to this big question, I would say I most likely know the answer, because I have solved the other questions. So, Hani, let's get back to you on does your mission currently fuel you? And if you don't mind sharing it, we'll be more than happy to know about it.
I think one of the key things that I had to do is, and let's start about 18 months ago, I joined Map for Life, and I saw it as a magical program, and I didn't follow through on it. All right. So I did Map for Life for about 3 months, and the magical program didn't do the magic that I was expecting it to do. The problem was not Map for Life at that point in time. I took it up about 2-3 months ago. Feels like a lot longer, but I took it up about 2 months ago, and I think the difference is Map for Life needs to be a lifestyle change. So I had to make a lot of very important decisions. Some of the decisions are not always that easy. I think one of the most difficult questions that took the most luggage away was really the decision to say, what is people going to think of me? I'm at the point now where I do what I need to do and let people think what they think. If I want to walk barefoot in the shop, I'm going to walk barefoot in the shop, and I couldn't care what the people think about it, because if that was my mission, that's what I'm going to do. So I think for me, that was super important to say, make that decision. You did refer to it. Map for Life is a very nice and structured process. So it does start with the hard questions to say, where are you right now? It does filter through the stuff, but it does guide you to the point where you, in fact, actually know what your passions are. My passion was always, I was blessed with this wonderful skill of talking to people at any age group. I can talk to a 2-year-old and I can talk to the board of director, the biggest, the CEO in a company. But I've never actually did anything with this wonderful passion and skill that I had. And I think the process I worked through on Map for Life actually guided me to that. I did mention previously, but I also started seeing where people sort of get to the end of their life, they're very keen to give. And that giving really touches you. So I think I got to the point where, and my purpose is really to start giving back to this world in the way of empowering people to go and find their purpose, to go and live their purpose at as young as age as they can. Glen often refers to between 35 and 55 is where we find it out. Maybe there should be a mission to say, let's try and do that before they hit 35, so that there's a lot more that they can do. But I think that's where I am right now, is I need to go and make a difference in this world, and I know how I'm going to do it by getting to people and helping them find their purpose.
Fantastic. Actually, it's quite liberating when you decide at a point in time that the people opinion will not be anymore chaining or stopping you from becoming who you think you should become. So thanks for sharing that, and my applause for just dropping that people's opinion and just moving ahead, empowering people. And I actually can see it on you, how your passion and your excitement just to be man on a mission. Uh, it actually, your face is all talking about that. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Primrose, can you share with us?
Okay, yeah. For me, I'll start off with my mission, my purpose. How I've crafted it is that I inspire people to reach their full potential. So that's what I do. So when I'm talking to someone, I end up just talking to them about where they are and where they want to be. I find myself just asking those questions, right? What are you passionate about? Where do you want to go? So what is stopping you? So you find that the methodology that is in the Map for Life, for me, it's now ingrained in me. I can actually come up with a conversation with anyone without necessarily holding the book and asking the specific questions. But I find myself doing that. And currently with my coaching services, I've actually said, my tagline is, I'm your passionate purpose partner. That's what I am. And you need to break through to the area of abundance, to the world of abundance. Most people actually limit themselves. What Glen talks about in terms of your imagination, it actually limits your world. And if you can imagine things that are familiar to you, then you have not yet broken through to the possibilities that are out there. So yeah, I'm now running with that, and I'm very fulfilled. Thanks to Glen and the Map for Life, methodology. So yeah, that has been my journey, because when I started in 2012, I actually followed through up to about 2015. Then for some reason life happened and
Yeah.
I left it, and then I resurfaced in 2017, got in
Yeah.
touch with Glen, and ever since then I don't think I'm going to look back.
Well, thank you for the gift that you are sharing with the world of helping people to reach their full potential. And you're also using the tool that help you craft your purpose. You are using it with people and taking the process so that they also can define where they want to end up. I think just to reflect on my journey, Map for Life helped me like from day to night. And I think it would have been have been another story if I had a mentor, like a Map for Life mentor, that would take me in the process and actually discuss with me the findings that I have discovered or the goals that I have set, to take me more into a journey of self discovery, self understanding, and as well would be someone with a little bit more years of experience that went the way before I did. And then when I say that this is the map that I have talked with my mentor with, and actually it reflects exactly my passion, my skills, my weaknesses, and where I want to be going. Uh, this would make a very big difference in my life. So yeah, back to Map for Life again. So what would be your one or two advice you would give to the people listening to you on purposeful living, and from the words you heard from Glen? Uh, let me put it in another way. What would be the key learning that you would take for yourself, and what is the one lesson that you would like to share with other people to help them live a purposeful life and be ignited with passion and a purposeful living? So, Janine, and then we'll
Okay,
go
we're going to
back.
get real again. So, one thing I would encourage you to do from Glen's talk is use your imagination, because very often we are so stuck in the box that we've been placed in. People give us frames, and even when we study, we're placed in a box of what we should expect and believe exists. But go beyond what exists. Go outside your comfort zone, and also areas where you felt you weak. Explore those areas, because very often our strengths are criticized in our lives, and we pushed down. So just explore who you are and what is within you, and use your imagination and go beyond what you normally would look at. I think
Absolutely.
that's where
Yeah.
I would say,
And
and
yeah,
do the map process. Join a map cafe, because a map cafe will hold you accountable and make sure that you actually achieve what you were looking to achieve, and
thank
that
you
you
very
stay
much.
the course.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that the self-image, the way you see yourself, can actually stop you, can hinder so much of your potential. And if you look on who you are, or who you think you are, or who you learned that I am this person with this limited ability, definitely then your dream will be very not complete, because it does not tap into who you can become. And again, someone from like a map cafe or a mentor can actually speak into your life and help you see what you don't see in yourself. And this will unchain you to actually fulfill and reach your full potential. So, Hani, now we are all ears listening to you.
I think the key thing for me really is you are unique, but you've got all the skills and all the talents that you need to fulfill the purpose that you were born for. So I think everything is there. It's a matter of thinking differently. Going into a session saying, what can I learn, is a good thing. But if I go into the session to say, what can I share, what can I bring to the party as well, is also there. And I think we sometimes doubt ourselves too much. We are awesomely created creatures. We've got all the skills, everything we need to do. We need to find how we can take everything that we were given and make the most out of it. And I think that's what is so cool about Mad for Life. It actually does exactly that. It helps you to take everything that you've got, and it then purposefully helps you to go and distribute and make effort with that to help some other people, which ultimately leads to what we're supposed to be, significant. So that for me is the advice. You are superly equipped. Go and take what you've got and go and make a difference in the world, because you can.
Thank you so much. And reflecting back, Map for Life will not help you to become any person you aspire to be. It would actually help you to become the person you were designed to be. So purpose is not something that you take on, it's something actually you discover. And the genius about the process, it helps you to dig deeper, to say, this is what I actually resonate with. This is actually what I believe I was born to do. So purpose is not something that you choose, it actually chooses you, but you have to take some time to discover it and then put it into action. Um, Primrose. Primrose.
Okay, yeah. So the takeaways from Glen. Maybe what I want to say is I'll start off with a question to say, are you just surviving or you are thriving? Because everyone we were saying everyone is actually packaged. You do have the unique abilities that are in you. In fact, Albert Einstein said it very well. He said everyone is a genius. But if you are going to measure a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then it will live or the whole of its life thinking it's stupid. So it said how people compare themselves in life with other people, and yet they are supposed to, like you said, discover what their purpose is. So you then find someone not being happy or feeling they are not good enough because they are comparing themselves with somebody else who's running with their own purpose. So it's very important to discover what you are wired for, right? What is your purpose? Because if you once you step into that, you will thrive. Instead of just surviving, you will thrive. And you will then find yourself living a very terrific and fulfilling life. And the Map for Life methodology is very, very key in your journey. It's a tool which, if you actually get hold of it, it will actually challenge you to break through your comfort zone. It will challenge you to discover who you are instead of who the world wants you to be. Who are you? And then you run with that. And once you do that, you will find you then live a life of abundance that Glen was talking about. That everyone should actually live a life of abundance, because we are created that way to thrive. We've got a purpose that the world needs at this time. Ask yourself, what is it that the world requires at this time that I have? Right? The fact that I'm alive means there's something that I need to be doing, right?
Exactly.
For this world, for me to be significant and not just exist. So for me, I think that's what I'll leave the audience with. And I think because I'm actually preparing right now for even for career, telling the students, for me, my career coaching is purposeful career coaching. I don't call it anything else. It's when you get into a career, it must be a purposeful career. It must be aligned with how you are wired and what you are supposed to do. So yeah, I think those are my parting words. let's be people of significance.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. We have like a legendary story or a saying, the pharaonic culture. I'm sure everybody has heard about the pyramids and the pharaohs and so on. So they have this story that when you die, you will be asked two questions. The first one, did you find happiness? And the second one, did you help someone find happiness throughout your life? I think our contest and our challenge is that when we have the Mapful Life philosophy or the Mapful Life method is asking, did we find our purpose? And then the second one, did we help someone else discover whom they were created to be? So let's have this challenge in front of us. And until we meet next week, let's try to dig deeper, craft more our reason of existence, and try to help someone else as well to discover why they existed. Janine, Annie, Primrose, thank you so much for your time and for your input. I think my time is over, so I'll be waiting now for Glen to jump in and